What's up, guys? It's Derek. I'm here on the Zach Nichols podcast. We're going to be talking about everything All-Stars 4, Season 40, and all the tea that you haven't seen.
Welcome back to the Zach Nichols podcast. I'm here in my getaway golf shirt with Pierre.
What's up?
And my good friend Derek.
Hello, what up? Yeah.
Derek Chavez in the building.
Finally.
Yeah, this was a long
Challenge
time coming.
superstar in the house. Thanks for making the trip to Detroit.
Of course, Detroit. Well, let's make an 8-mile joke.
That's it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Be rabid in the place. You got bars? You got rhymes?
No.
I know you can rhyme along with it though.
Yeah. No, I know mom spaghetti, all that stuff. Yeah,
Yup.
we got it.
That's an official restaurant now.
I know, man.
Yeah.
It's not,
You been there?
I have been there.
It's called
Of course
mom's
you have.
spaghetti.
Yeah, it's called Mom. It's M&M's fast food place.
I got the meatballs. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know if they have meatballs, but
Yeah, you don't order meatballs. You order the fettuccine.
Yeah, I do. It's my go-to meal.
Yeah.
Fettuccine.
He loves anything cheesy and noodles. You are what you eat.
Who doesn't?
You are what you eat, exactly. So welcome to the show. We've been trying to get you on for a while, and we couldn't have had you at a better time, right in the thick of season 40, Battle for the Eras. Big season to be on.
Right after your big return.
Big return.
How long had it been? Because it was Rivals 2.
So Rivals 2, and then I literally got called for multiple ones after that. So I think, what was that? Final Reckoning was the one I didn't get called, but then it was like X's or whatever it was, and it was either Frank or Marlon, and one of them said no. So I'm like,
One or both.
One or both, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, nobody.
Yeah.
Then it was like a Rivals 3 one, whatever, and I'm assuming it would have been Marie, just based on what had happened on seasons.
Yeah.
Somebody said no, and then Bloodlines, it was supposed to be me and my cousin. We made it to the very end, and then they called us right at the right before we head out, and they're like, no. So then I just didn't fit it anymore, So
Well, yeah, after that many seasons off, they're like no story really anymore.
So then the Dirty 30. I was hoping I got on Invasion because that would have segued me into the 30s.
Yeah.
Didn't get called for it, and then 30 happened, and then there was the trio, and just didn't fit it anymore. But
That's such bullshit.
thankfully, Mark started doing All Stars, and I didn't get called for 1, but right away I got called for 2, and was like, hell yeah, let's do that one. So All Stars 2 was like my big comeback. But I had to leave.
Yeah, you had to leave.
I had to leave.
Your
Yeah.
sister
So
passed. I can't believe you even showed up for that one.
And that happened the 2 days before.
Oh yeah.
And back then it was still COVID, so I was having to quarantine. So can you imagine knowing that information? I literally walked into the bus because they took us half the cast on one side and the others
that's
another.
right. 'Cause you had to quarantine a week before you. So you were in.
Yeah. Well, no. That was people that had to, but they just flew us separately. It wasn't a big thing anymore. But I remember climbing up under the bus, and Janae just looked at me and she goes, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I don't want to talk about it now. Let's talk about it later, and I'll tell you. Something is wrong. I'll let you know." Because I didn't, you know how people can be. I'm not blaming anybody, but I didn't want anybody to use that against me, saying that "Hey, you're using this to your advantage," because that's fucking disgusting, And
if anything, I would be more like, "Damn, I can't believe you're putting."
So I just didn't want to say anything about it. Let's go. But I had to be quarantined for 8 days in the hotel by myself with no phone, having to deal with that.
Oh, that's like a cycle.
We open a heavy topic, and I know a lot of people that are watching might not know exactly. So let's talk about it.
Yeah,
let's talk about it.
Yeah, of course. And also, September is Suicide Awareness Month, so I'll be doing something with that coming up soon. But it's just one of those things that doesn't get talked about enough, and I'm glad that I did finally talk about it because it's something that needs to be discussed. It shouldn't be something that you're embarrassed about. It shouldn't be something that you're scared about talking. I know the whole slogan that's going on right now is ask. It's making sure that you're checking up on your friends and stuff. And my little sister, she was in a situation that she didn't let anybody know. I didn't have any idea that she was feeling a type of way at all. And it was one of those things. I saw her right before the show. We were leaving on a Thursday. I saw her on Monday, and she's like, am I going to see you on Wednesday at my brother's house? Because we were going to do a champagne toast before I left. I'm like, yeah. I did get to say goodbye, and I got to say I love you that day. And then after that, I just never saw her again. And it was where did that come from? So I guess she was just depressed. I think there was things going on that we didn't know, and we'll never know. And yeah, so I lost my little sister to suicide, and it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And the only reason why I went back on this show, because I love the show, but she was looking so forward to seeing me on there. And I had talked to my mom, and she's literally like, I think you need to go. You need to go for her.
Absolutely.
But then being there,
tough.
So it's tough. I did well. Me and Melinda got third in that first challenge, and I still got voted in.
Which seemed to be your Achilles heel. But we'll touch on that later.
But it's just okay, cool. So then after they nominate me and after they vote me in, and of course, you know, they're like, let's piss people off, but let's throw a party right after. So that way this is going to be fun. So we had like a prom theme party and I was literally just like, no, I have to talk about it now. So like let everybody know. Producers were really, really cool. And I was used to producers like on Real World that are like, no, like this needs to be filmed. They were like,
That's not All Stars.
no,
That's not the
no.
vibe.
And
there.
they're like, get off camera, go. So
Yeah.
me, John A, and Jasmine went to the beach and just cried for like hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it was just one of those things. And I've talked to Nehemiah about this, and it's not like I would ever say like he didn't win. He beat me. He would have had a lot harder time had I actually tried though. And you know when you're like doing your math problems and you're like asking Diego like, is it good? And I was literally saying the wrong answer constantly. And you could tell he was getting pissed off. He's like, no, like, and so, but
Knowing you're not going at your full capacity and
well,
capabilities.
yeah, but then I was also like, okay, well, Nehemiah's pulling his second coffin already. Shit, like I can't like just get blown out of the water. So that's when I started like trying again. But I was just like, and it was crazy because our elimination was supposed to be on a certain day, but there was like a false positive for COVID. So they pushed it 2 more days. And in that time I was able to talk to my brother, which I wasn't supposed to. And he's
Right.
like, hey, mom's coming for something here in Arizona. So I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I was just like bouncing. But
So really quick timetable. So she's gone, and then you know like what's a time like table between that you going on the show and then this happening?
So Monday, so she passed away on Tuesday night.
yes.
And then I had Wednesday to pack and decide if I wanted to go. Thursday we took off, and maybe 2 weeks into it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
we were
that's-
literally in the house for like a week.
And at this point, like you're looking for something you're never gonna find, which is her. And then once you're there and you realize I'm never gonna find it, whatever I am gonna find is with my family. You know, you know you're gonna get there eventually, but that's a tough place to be. It's impossible to be there.
Yeah.
It's tough for anything, but especially to be in that house. Like I know, like not to pile on right now, but rest in peace. My uncle Jim passed away yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is my grandma's younger brother, and even just finding that out and knowing that he lived to like 80, but like it was an unexpected death. Like this morning, I'm trying to get my work done, and I'm just like checked out,
It's insane.
like mentally, just more upset for his daughters, and my grandma, and so I can't imagine having to be in a high pressure situation where like you're supposed to be checked in, having the time of your life, and everyone else is. And that's the hard part, is everyone else there is there to have just the best time ever.
Yeah.
And you just, you don't want to be there. You don't want to enjoy that. And then you have to go and compete on top of that, wondering like, how's everyone coping at home? So give you a lot of credit for even going.
It was crazy too. And like just knowing that I still had to like go into an elimination and stuff. And I was just thinking back, I'm like, what if I won that first challenge? Like I feel like I could have been in a John A situation with her at the end of that season. Like I was so ready for that season, clocked in, ready to go.
Yeah, well, people don't give you a lot of credit because of your early exits. But the one thing I've said on here before was the one season, well, we've done 2 seasons together, but Battle of the Seasons, you were surrounded by people who cared about you and who you cared about. And you seem to flourish and dominate when you have the support of people you care about.
Yeah.
Because on Battle of the Seasons, you were one elimination round from going to the final. And had you and John A won that, I tell this all the time, like the worst mistake I made in that game was not sending you guys into that water elimination round, because had you got to the final and it was me and Sam against you two and Dustin, Trishelle, and Brooklyn, Sam wasn't ready to run against you and John A. And you and John A were different from Trishelle and Dustin in the fact that you guys weren't space cadets, and you would have understood the assignment. Like they had the best shot to win that final. And they just didn't understand, like, take advantage of this situation being a 2-person team. But had you guys gotten to that final, like your challenge career would have been much different.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, because I try to tell people that and they're like, no, like you got there because of CJ. I'm like, no, actually CJ went home and me and John A were the only 2-person team to last more than one challenge after that. You know? Granted,
you guys,
we built ourselves like relationships with you guys, and sometimes it was like that. But like the one where we did like the King of the Hill one, like I didn't get knocked off and I got second on that one, so that's what helped us stay.
Right.
So it wasn't just like riding CJ's coattails kind of thing.
No, I think you perform. I mean, it takes 2 strong men and at least 1 really strong female to dominate that type of season. And we had me and Frank were very strong.
Yeah.
and you and CJ were right there with us in most of the challenges. You guys actually won.
We won the first and the fourth one.
Yeah.
And then
we only won our first one because everyone handed it to us on the beach.
Yeah.
It was the oil wrestling one, which was that was a shitty challenge.
Yeah. So it was like, and then we got second. Remember, like the mini final where we had to do the logs. You guys were going to just dominate, and then you had to go all the way back down.
Well, yeah, because what we should have done was what Sarah did and organized it at the bottom. But everyone was just like, put them on your shoulder. Yeah. And then after like 2 trips, you're like, wait a second, we only need 9 of them. And there's like 16 logs. So I still don't know if we ever even solved that correctly. I think it was just to the point where Rob and Marie were never going to finish. And they were probably just like, all right, you guys are done.
Turkey was hot too.
Oh, that we were there during the heat of the summer. Yeah. That was, but no, I tell people all the time, like going into Battle of the Seasons, I can like from what I saw on Cutthroat.
Yeah.
I was like, he's a layup.
Yeah.
But then competing alongside you and then against you in a lot of the challenges, I was like, no, like.
See, and I just never got that potential. But coming from like the era 2 part of like the whole way that the challenge works, that's still old school challenge. Like you're a veteran. I mean, you're a rookie. You're going in. Yeah. And I get it. You know. Like,
I went in twice that season.
So I'm just like, okay, that's cool. But like, we really have like Big Easy and like people like that on our team, and you guys really want to like, you know, nothing against Big Easy. I love Big Easy. I'm just like saying,
from you want to run a final with him?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
like if we're really looking at past like stuff, you know.
Right. Yeah. So I always say, I'm like, and then what ended up happening on your second trip to All Stars was you showed everyone exactly the competitor that you were when you were in a position of with people who supported you.
Oh yeah. And that was
mentally a good state.
Yeah, that was the first time too that like. Obviously, I had like prior things going in too with like Ryan and like Avery and
you had a lot of support.
I had a lot of support, so that was the first time I'm like, I'm gonna actually like use this to my advantage this time instead of just playing for myself. I'm gonna use this to my advantage and like I got you, you got me, and just I was always in a position where whoever was in power was for me, not against me. Right. I was I didn't lose, but I was on the bottom because that's how it was. It's like the bottom, middle, and the winners. Yeah. I was on the bottom a lot, but I'm like, okay, I know who's in the middle group voting. I know I'm good. Yeah. Regardless, you know. So, but yeah, being able to actually compete and show people, and then it's like people are like, oh shit, like you're fast and you're actually good. And then it was like I got to team up with like Laurel and a lot of things. So I was literally like, oh, we got this.
That's some pressure.
Yeah,
I know what it's like.
Oh yeah, Laurel. Yeah. But I think the difference between me and you though, I think you would like butt heads because it's like, you know, I want to do it my way, she wants to do it her way.
That concludes the free preview of the Zach Nichols podcast.
So go to Patreon and subscribe to see the rest of the shit that we talk.
Go do it now.